everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Fine. I'm distracted by the dog scratching the carpet under my feet.
I believe that's Hops.
Our dogs are weird.
Mm-hmm. The cocktail of the week this week is the Two-Faced Pineapple. It's a good name, right?
It is. It sounds vaguely sinister.
It's the Washington Post. This is a recipe from their website, cooking website.
Interesting.
I think like Pinterest. Like, it was shown to me by some algorithm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't go looking, but I saw this and I was like, oh, I mean, one, excellent name. Two, looks delish. So I made it. Let me pull up the recipe here.
It's great. It's a very, very good one. I still don't understand how you get like new, good tasting cocktails out of a finite list of ingredients that are always very similar.
Okay, so if you want to make this, you should Google the recipe because there's like a lot of stuff in it. So dark brown sugar, a bunch of Angostura bitters, like half a teaspoon, not a couple dashes, like a lot.
Oh.
Pineapple juice, coconut water, which we get by me yelling outside, "Dear Dad, I need a coconut." And then he opens a coconut and then I crack it open and put the water in here. So it's quite fresh. But you can just buy a bottle of it if you want, or whatever little packages.
Sure, you can get like a can.
Lime juice. All right, so pineapple juice, coconut water, lime juice, Angostura bitters, brown sugar. I found it was too tart. Like usually you use simple syrup in cocktails because when you shake it, like granulated sugar won't dissolve all the way.
Right.
And I don't know if there's a slurry of brown sugar at the bottom of my shaker, but I always end up adding simple syrup to this. I would say if you made a brown sugar simple syrup, right? So like 1 part brown sugar, 1 part water, and put that in to taste, that would be good.
Sounds like that's in the direction of molasses.
Oh, no, I mean, I guess you could put molasses in this, but I don't think molasses would shake very well.
I just mean if you put enough brown sugar in water and dissolve it, doesn't that turn into something like molasses? I don't know what molasses is.
Molasses is
brown.
Molasses
sweet.
is the brown part of brown sugar. If you separate it out, you have white sugar and molasses.
So I'm not totally off.
No. I mean...
It'd be like reconstituting brown sugar into non-brown sugar.
Maybe.
Whoa, nice sounds.
Anyway, you shake that all up. And you pour it over crushed ice. So this is a sort of tiki drink. Mm-hmm. And then you can drink it just like that, non-alcoholic. Or you can put an ounce of blackstrap rum over the top, which is like normally you have 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces of, say if you just have rum in a drink, that amount. So this is kind of half of that. But it adds a really nice kind of, blackstrap rum is sort of molasses flavored. So it adds a really nice flavor to this.
It's delish.
Yeah.
It's really good. There's no ginger, but it tastes like there could be ginger ale in there.
You say things like this a lot. I think you think pineapple and ginger maybe taste similar.
No, I think the blackstrap rum tastes like it has a little ginger in it.
Huh.
No.
I don't taste it, but I mean, taste buds are different.
I mean, I'm not gonna judge. I was gonna.
Anyway, so yeah, you can have this non-alcoholic or alcoholic. I was going to have my non-alcoholic tonight because I want to cut down on the number of cocktails I'm drinking because it has crept up over the course of quarantine. And so I made 1 non-alcoholic and 1 alcoholic for GR Dad. And I was like, oh man, it's so much better with the blackstrap rum.
Blackstrap rum is really good.
Yeah, it's like half the amount that normally goes in a cocktail.
If this had normal rum in it, you wouldn't have added it. But the blackstrap, it's a good opportunity.
It's really delish. So that's called the Two-Faced Pineapple. You can get the recipe at the Washington Post. Very tasty, good discovery.
Like it's sneaky and it, stabs you in the back, two-faced, or you think it just has 2 faces, or it's happy and sad. It's very interesting.
I think it's because you can have it non-alcoholic or alcoholic.
Oh, yeah.
So it says, a float of blackstrap rum at the end is all it takes to transform this innocent tropical fruit cooler into a boozy beach drink.
Into an evil psycho.
You can make 2 servings of the virtuous version and serve them as is, or sully one or both with the rum.
The virtuous version. Mm-hmm. So it can be happy drink or it can be even happier drink. I get it.
So, yeah, it's tasty.
It is. It's really good.
Okay. You ready for dog updates?
I am totally ready for dog updates.
There are so many.
Oh, my goodness. I probably will learn something, as often is the case in these web podcasts.
Well, let's start with this sort of golden ratio administrative corner, which is how we tend to have been starting lately.
Really?
Mostly discussing my dominance of TikTok.
That is loosely dog update. That is mostly your dominance of TikTok.
The dogs are in every single video I make.
True.
So.
True.
This is not about that, though.
They don't direct because it'd be freaking chaos.
Although I do continue to dominate TikTok. I got verified this week, so on my professional account. Anyway, no, this is not about that. So thing number one is, which I think we talked about on the 2.5-hour vaccine waiting podcast. Not that I expect you to remember what we talked about on that podcast, dear Dad.
Well, you're talking to me.
Yes.
Well, it was 2.5 hours long. I mean, how could I wasn't taking detailed notes.
So I think we discussed in that rambly podcast.
It's not how I remember it.
No, I bet you don't remember it.
As rambly. But yes.
That I had kind of asked people about monetizing on YouTube, basically having it put ads, either like ads next to the videos or the before-after ads that you can skip.
And I think you did a Twitter poll either before or after the podcast.
It was before, and I talked a little bit about those results on the podcast. And so everybody like generally was pretty supportive about us putting ads because kind of everything has ads, or like a lot of people have YouTube premium accounts. And so we still get paid if you have a premium account, but you don't have to see the ad. And so, you know, we've come up with a thing to kind of take the ads off after a while, which we talked about in the podcast. But anyway, so our YouTube revenue has literally gone up 100 times what it was, which is still, we couldn't live off of it.
100 times close to zero is a little bit more.
I know. I mean, we were getting like 20 cents, and now we're sometimes getting $20.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, by having those skippable ads. So thank you to everybody for being supportive of us adding that in. Because we have to not get too deep into boring adult stuff, we have a financial advisor now.
Oh.
So she's wonderful.
We pay her to nag us.
We have to enumerate all of our expenses in a spreadsheet now, and like we're keeping the dog expenses separate from like the, you know, my business expenses. So then like any money we make on the dog stuff, so anyway. You
think I'm boring on the webcast?
I'm trying not to talk too much about it, except to say that not that we made very much money, we made a few $1,000s total on the golden ratio everything last year, and we had to enumerate all the expenses, and I'm like, we can't do all of it. Let's just do the vet bills, which have been emailed to us, and the Chewy total for the year.
Yeah.
And I believe it was $25,000.
Holy smokes. Well, vet bills, yeah.
Yeah.
You got like guac.
The guac
Brillo.
surgery, the Parmesan surgery. Yeah.
And then just expensive medicines for everyone.
And everybody's on prescription diet food. So so having like, is your arm okay there, Jared?
It's okay.
Is that comfortable?
So it was. Now I'm self-conscious.
He was making like a little square shape with his hand and his middle arm and his upper arm. Sorry. I mean, go to it. Nobody can see.
I can't recreate it. I'm not a
Anyway, that's all to say that because we rescue old and sick dogs, we rescue, another way to say that is extremely expensive dogs. And so, you know, not that we can live off the $20 of ad income that we get on YouTube, but, you know, over the course of the year, it adds up to money that really is going to help us.
Pays for pill pockets for a week.
Pay for just the very high dog expenses, which is nice to have that.
Just the cheese of the righteous is a cost item.
It's on the spreadsheet now. Everything's in there.
Keeping foods and cheese.
And similarly, thank you for everybody for the cameos, which also are a nice source of, you know, income to help us take care of the dogs. Like whatever we make on all of this is not going to be as much as it costs to take care of the dogs.
Nope, but they appreciate it.
All that goes to supporting their stuff. And yeah, one thing I'll add is that, so everybody generally has been really happy with the cameos. There was one person who was like, not very personal. They were disappointed, which makes me really sad that I made something that they were sort of disappointed in. So I will say, if there's something specific that you want, the more directory you can be about it, the better. If you are like,
we won't be offended if you tell us kind of scene by scene what to do.
If you're just like, please tell Bob that Mr. Snuggles and Professor Humperdinck say that he's doing an amazing job.
That's right.
And then say like this phrase, which is an inside joke. I'll totally do it. But
That's
if you're like, Bob likes Elvis, I don't know what to do with that. Like, I probably won't do anything about it because I'm not going to be like, Bob, here you like Elvis.
Yeah, here's Love Me Tender. And Bob's like, damn it, I don't like that song.
Yeah, I just like...
I like blue suede shoes.
I don't know what... And especially, you know, like Elvis, at least I know something about some of the stuff that people mention. I'm like, I recognize the name of that thing, but I don't know anything about it. So I can't just be like...
Anime?
You also like that thing. So if you want me to mention... If you're like, they really like Elvis, be like, could you feed the dogs a peanut butter and banana sandwich... And in honor of Elvis, like tell Bob, in honor of Elvis, we're feeding you a peanut butter and banana sandwich. Like 100% do it.
Right.
But if you want me to like creatively work in something that I probably don't know about, I don't know how to do that. So I'll probably just leave it off and be like, Bob, happy birthday from the squad and your family, and not mention Elvis.
Right.
I think that's why the person was sort of disappointed in our thing, because they're like, this, you know, this person likes X and Y, and I was like, well, I don't know anything about those things. Like, I just didn't put them in there. So that's just to say, you know, a lot of people do just want like have the squad say happy birthday. Anything you do is fine. But if there is something specific that you want mentioned, and plenty of people do this too, give us direction.
Yeah.
Because we really want to make them good. And if you do get one and you feel like it's missing something. Like somebody had us do their wedding vows. Like they're going to play them in their wedding.
But we didn't know that.
So she's like, I got engaged. I was hoping you could do something that's sort of like vows. Like, you know, I'll love you as much as Guac loves tennis balls. And so I kind of made a video that was like, hey, fiance, like here's a message from your fiance. And, you know, I hope you guys love each other this much and this much. And she's like, this is really nice. And it's totally fine if you have it like this. But I wanted it to be something I actually can play at the wedding, which is the plan. Could you, you know,
actually,
is it
the
possible,
vows, I think, right?
Yeah, to make it like, I promised to, and I was like, oh my God, like I didn't know that's what you were going to do, of course. Yeah. And then, you know, we're able to re-record it and resend it to you. And it's like, we want everybody to be really happy with them. So if there is anything, or you're just like one person, I made him a video and sent it. And I did everything that they said, and they're like, hey, could you put A Vink is the Moon at the end? And it's like, sure, it's super easy for me to take the thing I did and stick A Vink is the Moon on at the end.
She's quite malleable, that one.
Yeah, and like re-editing the videos and stuff is really straightforward. So if you ever do get one and you're like, oh, you know, I wish I had asked for this thing, like just, there's a little chat box on there, just ask and we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But thanks for everybody who's been doing those. There's, we're not getting 60 a day like the first day, which is great, but there's a nice steady stream of them, and it's like very touching to participate in all of these like celebrations and give pep talks and.
Yeah, no, they're all, the dogs really appreciate it, so they can keep eating.
Yeah.
Hopper just looked at me the other day and she said, Ingo, I'm so happy that people are ordering cameos so I can keep getting treats.
Oh,
she didn't actually say that. I have to be clear. I just made that up, Jen. Did not happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So anyway, that thus ends administrative quarter. Thank you for being supportive of us monetizing a little bit, because, you know, our financial situation has been adjusted and we're totally fine, but it's reassuring to be able to support all these expensive dogs with money that mostly we're not taking from you guys. The cameos, like, people are paying for those things.
No,
but
the
like,
YouTube thing seems like a victimless crime. I mean, I don't care if YouTube loses money.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Take money from Google, take money from TikTok, but we don't want to, like, this is why we don't do a Patreon, right? We don't want to take money directly from all of you.
That's why I don't do OnlyFans, because, you know, I feel bad. Jared
had OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. At Ingo Burkhart, if you guys want to encourage him.
Wait, is that the naked thing? Mm-hmm. I'm not doing that. Then there's another reason why I'm not doing that.
Okay, let's get to dog updates. We have so many. Okay, let's start with the little cheese. So
cheese cubed, the new cheese.
I'm sorry. Yes, the new cheese, the cheese cube. Chigs. She started calling him
aged cheese. Yeah.
Yes, the third cheese. So we did a glucose curve on him last week, which I think we probably also talked about this in the long podcast. We did a glucose curve on him. It was pretty high. We sent it to the vet that we were at, and he was like, weird. let's adjust his insulin. So we increased his insulin. And he's like, give it a couple weeks. And then, if it's not better, we should test him for Cushing's disease.
Which I didn't know was a thing, but
it's a thing.
Feels like diabetes a little bit. Well, its symptoms are similar.
Symptoms are similar. Yeah, it's an overproduction of a certain hormone, as opposed to like not producing insulin, like diabetes, but it can cause you to have high blood sugar and other stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, like maybe that's it. So we adjusted his insulin, and I want to say that was like Thursday. And then we already had an appointment for him on Monday at the regular vet. So this is the overnight vet that we've kind of been emailing with, who saw him right when we got him. And so Monday we go to the regular vet, and I was like, so here's his glucose curve from like a week ago, basically. Yeah. And we increased his insulin based on what this doctor said, but he's like, maybe we should test him for Cushing's. And the regular doctor's like, we can test him for Cushing's, which is a big, expensive process. She's like, but almost always, like, this marker in the blood work will be high if they have Cushing's, and it's not on him, so I don't think that's really it. But why don't I do this other test, fructosamine test? Because like
fructosamine,
right? Yeah. Because your glucose goes up and down, and it wavers for all sorts of reasons all day, but the fructosamine is way more stable, so it kind of gives you an average of the last couple weeks. Because it doesn't move a lot, and it's just a different kind of value. So we'll do a fructosamine test, and that'll tell us if his diabetes is regulated or not based on like the food we're giving him and the insulin. Okay, so we do the test, and he comes back smack dab in the middle of the well-controlled range.
Great.
So his diabetes is well-controlled. This is very exciting because the barrier between the cheese and the cataract surgery that will let him see again was having his diabetes well controlled. So this test comes back, and it's like perfect evidence that his diabetes is well controlled. So I was like, okay, on the way home, like calling the eye doctor vet, like, you guys, his diabetes is well controlled. And they're like, that's great. And I was like, when can we come? I need you to fix my cheese. So we can't do it here in the Keys because there's no ophthalmologist here. So we're going up to this clinic. It's a series, like a chain isn't the right word, but it's an animal ophthalmology clinic called the Animal Eye Guys. They have like 8 or 10 offices around Miami.
As long as they don't travel around in a van.
Everybody loves them.
A van and scalpels.
They're apparently really great. And so we're going up there on April 8th. And he's going to get like all of his exams and tests, and they do ultrasound of the eye to make sure that he's a good candidate for the cataract surgery.
Yeah.
They only do those on Thursdays. And then if he is a candidate, we'll go back the next Thursday, April 15th, for the surgery. We have to stay overnight, so I've got like hotel rooms reserved for me and Manchego.
We're not taking the whole GRV with all the dogs. We're just going to let you and Manchego. It's
just
fine.
Just me and Manchego doing a little road trip up to Miami.
Yep.
So this is very exciting. And when I was talking to them about the scheduling, they're like, well, is it you or the rescue group? And I was like, well, look, we're going to do it no matter what. And if the rescue group won't pay for it, because it's not like a life-saving thing, we'll pay for it. Right. We'll get it done. And she's like, well, if you go through the rescue group, like, we don't charge you at all for the initial consultation and analysis, which is, like ultrasounds and stuff, very expensive vet visit. And then the surgery, we give 50% off to rescue groups.
Was she saying it like, I'm not telling you what to do, but if the rescue were to pay for it, it would be half as much?
I think she's like, you should definitely have the rescue group do this. Yeah. Because we give them half off. So it goes from like a, $4,500, $5,000 process to $2,000 paid by the rescue
significant. Group. Per eyeball or for a full?
For the whole thing. Yeah. I mean.
He may only get one eyeball, but.
Rescue groups normally get a discount from the vet, but it's like 10%, maybe it's 20%. I've never heard of anything like this. It's super generous. So if you're in Miami and you need to go to an eye doctor for your vet, the Animal Eye Guys every vet I have talked to has been like, oh, that's definitely where you should go. They have a really good reputation, but also that's super generous with the rescues.
That's great.
So anyway, we're waiting right now for they have a rescue coordinator. That's how big this clinic is, that they have a person whose job it is to talk to rescue groups. So we're waiting for their rescue coordinator to talk to our rescue group medical person and get everything set up. And then our rescue group's board of directors will vote on whether or not to pay for the surgery, which I think they will. And
because they're careful with their money. They don't just say, okay, yeah, we'll pay for this.
Anytime there's a big elective thing, yeah, they talk about it. So anyway, in like 3 weeks, Manchego should be able to see again if everything goes well.
Here's the other question. When can he have snacks?
I don't know. We still got to work on the glucose.
We got to ask the snack.
The snacks don't have anything to do with the eyes.
Independent, but they have something to do with the controlled diabetes.
Well, we did another glucose curve yesterday, which was still kind of high, but it was not as high as the previous time. Mm-hmm. So, I think once we get the insulin adjusted to where we want it, then we'll be able to talk about introducing snacks. But we're not there yet, dear Dad.
Little snacks.
No snacks.
No, not now. Not without clearance, I understand. Yeah. But I'm willing to just give green beans if that's like an acceptable snack.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out, but we're not there.
Yeah. Snacks.
Patience, dear Dad. Patience.
Snacks.
He's fine. He doesn't...
He would love me more if I gave him snacks. I've tried this with many dogs.
Okay. Voodoo found a dead fish in the ocean and ate it.
Before we knew that he'd found it, he just probably ate the whole freaking thing.
Yeah, I came down and I was like, where is Voodoo, right? Because he sits outside all the time. And I find him like away behind the elevator crunching, like satisfied crunch. I'm like, what is he chewing
He was behind
on?
the elevator because he was hiding. The guy is sneaky as hell.
So I like pry his jaws open. I can't find anything in there, but it smells like very dead fish. So I'm sure someone like threw it off their boat or something. I mean, I guess it could have just died and floated
up. We had
up.
a dead fish wash up the other day, and it could have been whatever. But I got it before Voods did.
Well, he got this one.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, Voodoo, like, bring him upstairs. Oh, he smells like dead fish in the elevator.
He's so happy. He's so pleased with himself.
He's so happy. And I was like, hey, you're not going to be happy for long because I'm giving you a bath. And he's just like, no, I am made of rubber now. And I just drag him across the floor into the tub. I almost died.
It was like a giant jellyfish all of a sudden.
I'm trying to like flop him over the edge of the tub. And he's like, no, I slide back out. And I was like, no, I always win. Foods, I always win.
It was like
get him in there.
Ziploc bag full of Jell-O or something. You're trying to drag him.
Anyway.
He goes boneless, so that's his defense mechanism.
Yeah.
If he were in the wild, that would be his defense mechanism.
So I got his mouth all washed, and he still didn't smell great afterwards. I had to spray him with like that Nature's Miracle like odor spray, which is truly miraculous stuff. I did a TikTok about it, and I'm like,
I think you compared it to Axe body spray for him.
I did. He also did an escape yesterday. I was like, he was laying in the middle of the front yard. And I was going out to get the mail. And so I just opened the gate a little bit.
He's lying 50 yards away.
And I go to get the mail, and all of a sudden he comes just charging, right? The dog never moves, but he sees his opportunity and just charging out of the gate. And I was like, no. So I grab him as he gets out into the street, and he's like, I'm outside now. And I was like, yeah, get back inside. He's like, no, I am rubber now. And just collapses on the ground. All right. So I like put the mail in the yard on the ground and then go just like drag his 85-pound butt, 95-pound butt, whatever he weighs, back into the yard, just dragging him. Because he's like, no, I'm not. Then I let Guac out. And as we discussed in the last episode, Crab Trap, Guac has escaped to the neighbor's house. And so Guac is on probation. So I take just Guac outside, and he's in the front yard doing his business. I'm sitting on the steps watching him so he does not escape. And he starts walking under the house, and I'm like, oh, he's going to go swim. So I call him, and he doesn't come. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get him then. So I walk down, and I hear someone go, uh-oh, from down away, not at our house, right where he was in the crab trap before. And so I was walking over and I was like, is he over there again? And they're like, yes, he is. So I trudge over, and there was no crab trap or cat food or anything this time.
You just heard people over there.
Yeah, there's like the 2 people who are like renting that house, and then 2 people who are renting the house across the street who we know. And they're hanging out, having like beers, watching the sunset, and Guac just trots on over. And I didn't know I had my phone recording. I think I was trying to record something before, and I hadn't pushed the button, but I pushed the button to stop it, and it started recording. And so there's this like Blair Witch Project-y video of me like walking over, and he comes and looks at me, and then he's like, oh, turns around and he starts walking back to the guy. I was like, no, he's not your friend. I'm like, all right, he might be your friend, but he's not going to save you from me. Get over here.
So obstinate and so like headstrong all of a sudden, that guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Vink.
I mean, Guac, not the neighbor.
Yeah, no, the neighbors are nice.
Fine.
They're very nice. They were all happy to see Guac. Vink has a urinary tract infection. They found it in her Morris Animal Foundation urinalysis. She shows no symptoms of it with us, but she had it, and she had gone on some antibiotics for her skin infection, and then like 2 days later, they're like, oh, these results came back. She has a urinary tract infection. Let's let her finish those antibiotics and see if that takes care of it, even though it's not normally the antibiotics you'd give for a UTI. And it didn't. And so then they cultured her. They did another urinalysis, and they cultured it to get the exact bacteria. And so now she's on cephalexin for however many pills we have in there. Probably
like
2 weeks.
Petri dish Golbeck. I mean, she's like growing stuff that we don't even know about.
Yeah. Hopper's fine. Chief Brody's fine. Everybody got baths today.
Yeah, that was an hour-long
Talk about you
project.
did most of it. I mean, I guess I did 2 of them.
We may have drained the keys of water for the hour. It was just 5 dogs and a shower each, and they're all different degrees of absorptiveness and like Chief Brody's like a sponge. Literally, you can wring out the water with your hands afterwards. You just squeeze, and water comes out like you're squeezing a sponge. He holds it, and then they're all different degrees. Venk is a little bit like that too. She's very spongy.
Yeah,
but
Voodoo dries really easy.
It just runs off. Guac is really good too. I mean, he may not be a golden retriever. I'm not sure.
Stop it.
Guac has really
my boy.
Water adaptive fur. It runs off. It dries quick, and he was the least in need of a bath, but everyone else was getting really salty. There's like, you'd pet them and white stuff would be on,
I was
on your hands.
petting Brody and Voodoo yesterday. They were like on either side of me, so I was like rubbing them on their backs, and like my hands just came away with that like white caked on dog residue.
It was, I mean, I don't know what it is, but they're spending time in the water and just, they don't mind, I don't think. Hops' skin gets a bit itchy, but
Hops was in desperate need of a bath.
Yeah.
But we have this neighbor with a golden. The golden's name is Bahia. I will eventually put her on the snap. She's real cute. And they come over they come over, and Bahia swims sometimes. Bahia's mom doesn't swim here. But she's very nice. And she's like our first friend in the neighborhood. Like, she's
not
a weird, crazy
normal
person.
No baggage.
No, she's super nice.
Yeah.
But when she first came over, like I saw them, I was out for a run and ran into them, and I was like, if you want to come by and swim, like have her come by, because they see Hops in the water when they go past in their boat.
Yeah, Bahia rides in the front of their boat.
Yep.
A lot.
So like a week or 2 later, she came by when the people working on the house, the gate was open. So she brought Bahia, and they went swimming. Bahia went swimming with, I think, Brody. And I was telling her about Vink, that was when she was told that she had to get shampooed after every swim. And I guess Bahia had some of these same problems, and she's like, "Oh, I don't let her swim as much anymore because we had to give her all these baths. But I've got this shampoo that the vet gave us. I'll drop it off at some point." And sure enough, a few days later, in our mailbox, there's this bottle of vet shampoo, which is amazing.
So much better than everything we've tried. We've had many different kinds of shampoos.
So much better. It suds up really well. Yeah. It smells so good. So the brand is Animal Pharmaceuticals Comfort Shampoo is the name of it.
Yeah.
And basically you can buy it on the Animal Pharmaceuticals website, which I tried to order a gallon. I ordered it.
A gallon?
A gallon. Well, we go through a lot of dog shampoo.
I know, but it'd be funny to pour a gallon container onto a dog. Is pretty funny.
I'm hoping it has a pump.
It's like a dog. It's like a car wash or something.
But I ordered it like 6 weeks ago, and I emailed them, and I was like, "Guys, where's my shampoo?" And they're like, "Well, there's a global plastic shortage, as you know." And I was like, "I don't know. Where is it?" So I found some other like VetRx website that had it, and you don't actually need a prescription for it.
Not a gallon, though.
No, I ordered
disappointing
3 8-ounce or 16-ounce bottles, and they came in like 2 days.
You know what I'm going to use as an excuse from now on? It has to go through the Suez Canal. It can't. It's stuck. It's jammed. Jammed. There's a boat in the way.
Well, good luck with that.
The global plastic shortage does not sound as convincing.
No, that's true.
Boat's stuck.
Anyway, everybody smells kind of like coconut now, and they're fluffy, and they're going to shed like crazy tomorrow when all that fur comes out from the baths.
Yeah, but it'll be clean fur.
It will be clean. It does smell nice in here now. It smells like clean dog.
Yeah. Manchego's little cart is great. It's a genius move to get a cart that fits in the elevator.
Thank you.
That was very smart.
I also bought, because we're going up to Miami, so his visit on the 8th, he has to be there at 8 a.m., and it's like 3 hours from our house to the clinic. So we're staying overnight the night before.
3 hours without traffic could easily be.
Yeah, which you could definitely hit in Miami for sure. And so I think we're at it's some pretty fancy, like, I don't know if it's a Hilton or a Hyatt, but like in Coral Gables, like pretty fancy place. But they take dogs, it's fine. But I'm like, he does not walk very much, especially where you want him to walk, and not at any speed. I'm like, how am I going to get him like out of the car, like in a parking garage, into the lobby, to the desk, to check in, up to the room, and then out? Like, Giard had to carry him, right? And there's no way I'm going to get him to do that.
Yeah.
So I bought a collapsible version of the cart. It's like got fabric sides and bottom, and it's kind of like a collapsible stroller. It's got little wheels.
Yeah, mini cheese wagon.
Yeah, so that will be easy to travel with. Because I was like, I need the cart, but I can't bring like the big heavy metal cart. So I got a collapsible one.
I think that's cool, with canvas and struts.
Yeah, I think it's going to be here Friday or Saturday, so we'll do a little tour of the G-Wagon 2.
That's cool.
Yep.
He's pretty good in it. He just like sits there and looks around.
Yeah, he likes it just
or
fine.
sniffs around.
I think that's it for dog updates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a German word of the week for us?
Well, speaking of guac being like a headstrong juvenile, there's a term for like teenage men. It's called Halbstarker and Halbstarker.
Half something.
Half strong. So someone who's like halfway to his strength, like half as strong as a man, but like still it conveys this image of like a teenage thuggy.
I like the shade that goes with it.
There's definitely shade, yeah. Like
oh, look at this half strength.
Yeah, like some teen or 20-year-old meathead. I think meathead is probably close to the connotation. It's not really complimentary. It's not the worst insult.
Yeah.
But it's not good. It implies someone who's stronger than they are smart. Halbstarker, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And Guac's developing into one of them right now.
Yeah, he definitely.
That's why he's on the leash in the snaps today. He's on the 20-foot leash because it's his probation leash. I figure I can stomp on it and stop him if he starts sprinting.
Yeah, that's true. What a jerk. Okay, for our Taste of the Keys this week, we have no foul play expected in Grassy Key death investigation.
That's right. That was a bizarre one. This is like what is a closed room mysteries?
Kind of. So a 22-year-old Beltsville, Maryland. Oh, Bealsville, Maryland. I don't know if they mean Bealsville or Beltsville. But anyway, near us. Near our other us. So she's from Maryland. She was found in the window of a Grassy Key resort on Tuesday morning. So she was basically trying to make entry into a Pelican RV resort and marina window. So it doesn't sound like she was trying to get into an RV from the story, but this is a big resort. Obviously a lot of RVs there, but I think they've got like some rooms and some sort of permanent structure. Somehow she's trying to get into some building on the property.
And it is implied that it's her own room? Because she forgot her key or lost her key.
She didn't have a hotel key and was attempting to make entry to her room via the window. And she got stuck and she asphyxiated and died.
It just sounds horribly tragic and so like pointless.
Yeah. This is, I think we were talking about this when we read this story, and I think this is something that you sometimes see in like these weird mystery cases if you follow true crime stuff, called positional asphyxia, where you can get stuck somewhere, especially like with your head down, and it's not like you're choked, but like your chest is sort of compressed where you can't get a full breath in, and then you're stuck there, and eventually like you pass out because you're not getting enough breath, and then eventually you die. It's really terrible.
Instead of going to like the front desk or something, I mean, it's just like there's a bigger story there. The police report's pretty terse. There had to be mistakes were made and bad judgment calls, but it's all in hindsight, right? I'm sure it seemed harmless at the time. I'll just pop in through the window and let myself in.
And get stuck.
The room keys on the dresser, right? And then get stuck. Maybe you're drunk. I mean, didn't say anything about that, but I mean,
no, they
decisions.
got the police and fire and rescue got called at 7:30 a.m. But who knows
when she was trying to get in.
When she tried to get in.
Yeah.
I mean, overnight sometime.
Maybe she was in her bathrobe too and didn't want to go to the front. I mean, it's just like so many things, little things. Man, it's tragic.
Yeah. So, not a happy one, but a kind of bizarre story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bealsville, Maryland. Interesting. I don't know where that is.
Sounds like it could exist, though.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Got anything else to add before we're done?
No, I'd like to go on for 2.5 hours, but I'm not, I don't have enough creativity right now to ramble on.
All right. Well, until next week, or whenever we decide to do another one of these. Could be sooner.
Whoa.
Don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
Yeah, don't bite anyone.
Bye.
Bye.